little bit about, there's a really great coaching technique that advanced coaches use, and that is we listen for the red flags within conversations. So let's just go back a bit first and let's talk about that. So what we're listening for when we're working with our teams or we're working with our clients, we're listening to their how they identify themselves and also their beliefs and their values. And that's what's called red flags. So quite often you'll hear a red flag. People will generalize information. So they'll say, everyone always does it, does this. So that's a red flag. And sometimes what they'll do as well is that they'll distort it. So they'll go, that person, screamed at me or yelled at me or whatever. And so sometimes that's actually a distortion. The person may have just raised their voice, but they go to the extreme and they create distortion as well. And then what they may do is that they delete important information, which you need as well. But you're also listening for the words that they use. Say, for example, if I'm working with someone and they say something about, I've lost confidence around this role, or I just feel like I'm not good enough or whatever, what jumps out to me are the words confidence. They lost their confidence and they feel they're not good enough. So then as a good coach, you have to find out more about why they feel like they're not good enough. What evidence do they actually see to show them they're not good enough, and what has to change to make them good enough from an internal game area. But to listen to the red flags, there's some basic principles that you as a leader or as a coach have to abide by. So the very first one is we cannot be distracted by anything. And I'm talking about distraction, external factor distractions and internal distractions as well. So say, for example, you've just been on a phone call or just had a meeting and it didn't go so well, and that event is on your mind. That actually, that takes you away from being connected to the person that you're speaking to. Because the more you're focused and more you're listening, really, I'm not talking about active listening, I'm talking about deep listening. When you actually got that depth of listening to what's really going on for them, then you start to understand more about your team member and what motivates them and what holds them back from achieving the results that you want them to as well. But that's a connection exercise as well. So if we've got any distractions or any other priorities in our mind, it takes us away from that. But it's almost like an energy level. Like when you're connecting, you're actually sending your energy out, you're not pulling it back. So just say you're having a difficult conversation and you're not confident in facilitating that difficult conversation. Your approach is completely different than someone who has got confidence. So you'll actually withdraw your energy in, and then you'll start to focus on yourself more so than focusing on the other person. And this also happens with public speaking as well. Quite often we say focus on your audience, don't focus on yourself. So it's a really good skill. So to develop that skill, it's having that mindset that you really, really want to listen to what your team member has to say to you. It's not just, let's get over the meeting as quickly as we can. I've got other priorities I've got to move on to. So we need to, I've only got 5 minutes of my time to listen to, what are you going to tell me? It's showing the other person that you really care, that you really value them as a team member as well. So this is just one strategy that I go into really deep training in my program. So I've just opened my enrollments for my 5-week high-touch coaching program, helping leaders within leadership to actually be able to handle difficult conversations and also to lead their teams with confidence, conviction and ease as well. Look forward to speaking to you again very soon. Take care. Bye.